Hey everybody, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the rise of the microbrands.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
You know what sucks when you have a live podcast? When life just throws you curveballs. Sorry, we had some tech problems and we're trying to go live. We try to go live noon every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but unfortunately, we were having some technical issues. But we're here now, and today we have on the show Tru Earth co-founder Ryan Mckenzie, and we're going to be talking about engagement and how to grow audiences. So what's really cool is that Ryan's been able to grow Tru Earth to over 100,000 active subscribers in less than 20 months. So if you're an Amazon or e-com seller, if you're just doing anything online and you're trying to build engagement, just like when we talk with Maya and Gordon, this is a podcast to listen to. So tag your friends, get them over here, and this is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Ryan's new to our community, so I'm really interested to hear what he's got to say as well. So not new to the e-com or social media community, but Lunch with Norm community. So Kelsey, where are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's a barrel full of laughs.
Yeah, great, awesome. All right, so yeah, if you guys are new to the podcast, new to the show, you can go ahead and go join our Lunch with Norm Amazon and e-commerce community. It's a Facebook group. We call it the Beard Nation. I'll throw it in the comment section. But if you guys have any questions at all for Ryan and Norm, put them in the comment section and I'll throw them up on screen and we'll get to them as soon as possible.
We are running a little late. So if you do have friends that normally listen, or the Beard Nation, just tag them to get them over, and we'll start to build up the audience before we really dive into it. But first of all, Mark, Marino, Yarrow, Rad, how are you? Simon.
Awesome.
I thought Happy Blue Monday. What is Blue Monday? Is that the blues? Anyways, Let's get into this. We're running a little bit behind. Kelsey, do you have anything important to say?
Yeah, just we have about 3 more days left of the podcast or the AirBud Pro giveaway. So I'll put that link in there too. And of course, smash the like button, share the episode to your friends. Looks like we've got Nathan too. But yeah, that's it for me. And let's enjoy the show.
All right. Okay. Oh, and by the way, guys, if we are trying to figure out a name for, I forget what the name of the site is, Padron or something like that. I think that's
Patreon?
A tequila. Oh yeah. Padron's a tequila. but anyways, we're coming up with this really cool content that we're going to be providing in that Patreon site. And it's going to be sort of a day in the life of a successful entrepreneur or e-com entrepreneur. So we're trying to figure out what to call it. Food for thought. I thought Inside the Sandwich was kind of cool, but Kelsey and my wife thought that was horrible, and they said that it was the worst. But those are the 2 names so far. If you guys have an idea, or if you have a name, just let us know for this little thing we're going to be doing. It's going to be like 15-minute interviews with like Kevin King, and some of the top people that have been on the show. All right, so sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show. Hey, Ryan.
What's going on, Norm? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. So, that's probably the chillest intro we've ever had. So why don't we just start right at the beginning? Like I said, for me, you're new to. We've never really sat down and been able to have a coffee or whatever to talk about what you're doing. So let's go back. Tell us a little bit about your backstory and what you're all about.
Yeah. So first of all, I appreciate you having me on the show, and I apologize for my computer's all crashing here today. But so about 20 months ago, we launched Tru Earth, which is a brand of laundry detergent that basically addresses with the goal of eliminating plastic from the laundry room. So like let me rewind a little bit more and go back to when this all started. But you can still hear me, right? I think you're muted, but all right, cool. So it was mid 2018 or probably early 2018, and a family friend of ours had heard some of the other subscription products that we had been doing, and kind of prompted us because he had purchased, or he had invested in the patent for these laundry detergent strips, and he thought that what we were doing was interesting, and thought that, hey, maybe you guys could make something like the Dollar Beard Club with these little strips that we've invented. And at the time, you know, I thought when the idea got back to me, I was kind of thinking, I don't know, that's a really difficult product to A, break into that market, and then B, from a direct response perspective, it's going to be tough to make to be profitable on such an inexpensive product. So it kind of kicked it down the curb, and we didn't do anything with it initially. And then I have 3 kids now, but at the time I had 2, and they were both under 4. And I mean, you have kids. One of the fun things about being a new dad is discovering anxiety about your children's future and what the world's going to have in store for them. And I was kind of going through one of those phases where I wasn't sure what was going to happen in terms of, like, is the world going to become overpopulated? Are robots going to take over all the jobs? Is there going to be food for them? Is global warming going to happen? Is Skynet going to come and take over humanity? And we were watching one morning when my wife was pregnant. We were watching an unboxing show on YouTube, one of those kids ones, and they were unboxing this treasure chest, and it was full of like surprise toys. And the treasure chest was wrapped in plastic, and the treasure chest itself was made of plastic, and then there's like 15 little toys wrapped in plastic in a plastic shell. That toy itself was made of plastic, and it was just like, I was starting to get like, I'm like, this is insane how big consumerism's become, and we're like teaching this to kids. So I kind of did a little bit of digging into kind of how much plastic actually gets recycled from different things, and laundry detergent happened to be one of them. And I discovered that there's about 1 billion jugs of laundry detergent used in North America every year. And of that, there's about 30% that can be recycled in some capacity, about 10% that actually gets repurposed, and 20% that gets turned into like burned for energy. And, you know, we had this conversation with my partner's stepbrother, basically. And it kind of popped in my head. I'm like, what about that laundry detergent? And the first thing that I thought is, we never actually tried this when we were pitched it, because I didn't think that this could wash clothes. I just thought it was impossible. So we had them send us some. We tried it. We were blown away by how effective it was. And then we were like, okay, well, let's see if we can try selling this stuff, and if we can move 150 or get 150 people to buy into this cause in the first month, then we'll move forward with it. And so Kevin, our other partner, spun up a website for us, and we tested it out. In the first month, we sold more than 1,500. And, you know, a year, or, you know, 20 months later, and we've sold more than 250,000 customers D2C. And I'd imagine probably 50,000 on Amazon.
Very good. So before we go any further, I'm just looking. Andrew, are you an e-com mule? You're hopping around from Jakarta to, Thailand to Hong Kong. I don't know, but I think somehow you're a mule of some sort of e-com product. Fatia, how's it going? I see a couple of Facebook users. I don't know who they are, but this is a cool one down here for you, Ryan. I'm not sure who that is. Kelsey will find out in a second. But it says, hey, Ryan, if you're looking to get laundry strips into brick and mortar stores, I have a fabulous master rep who you can set you up nationwide. So I'll make sure that you guys get in touch.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. So let's start talking about it. You started off with this really cool idea. So what was the next step? How did you start to build the momentum? How did you get influencers to pick this up? Let's go right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning. So we built the site up. It took us probably about a month to kind of like figure out what our brand stood for and all those things. But it took us about a month end to end to get it all going. And then we launched to Facebook ads, which is, you know, pretty standard for a lot of guys. And surprisingly, the first day we launched, we didn't actually get any sales from the Facebook ads. The first sale came from somebody I used to work with, who I had texted the link to. And so I was kind of like a little bit bummed out day one, no sales. You know, you're expecting that, like push the go button and then just like, you know, blow up all your systems, but it didn't fly. And then day two, woke up in the morning and the sales started rolling in and rolling in and rolling in and rolling in. And that was kind of like the first moment where I was like, okay, this is actually something that it looks like we'll be able to, this could be something. And, you know, that was where the first thing we did. From there, we went and we moved into like Google ads, basic Google ads, covering like our defensive brand terms and stuff like that, going after low hanging fruit for, kind of eco-friendly laundry detergent and stuff like that in terms of search intent. And then we eventually moved into, we never really jumped straight to macro influencers. What we did do is we started seeding in some subscription boxes. One of them was the Simply Beautiful box. And that actually got us some pretty good traction right out the gate. It also happened to coincide with Earth Day. It was the month that we launched. So there was a lot of buzz, and Greta Thunberg was kind of really starting to get on that eco tear roughly around the same time that we launched. So part of it was we caught lightning in a bottle with lucky timing.
All right, with Amazon Subscribe and Save, so you're on the Subscribe and Save model with your Amazon listing? Okay.
Yeah, we are.
So I've had a problem with Amazon Subscribe and Save, and yet I've heard people have great success with it. The problem I had is I like to play around with the price. So I might try to play around and it starts out at $15, but I want to get it up to $19. Then I might bring it back to $17 because I'm just trying to find the sweet spot. Now it might end up at $24, it might end up at $30. All of a sudden I start getting all sorts of emails from Amazon just saying that, because of the price fluctuation, I'll be kicked out of the program. So what do you do for something like that? What happens if you want to bring up your price? What happens if you increase the perceived value of your product? Can that hurt your overall sales, or do you still like that subscribe and save function?
Yeah, so I mean, you can't typically get access to subscribe and save on an individual product until it's been on the market for I think about 3 months. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we really messed with. We didn't do that many experiments, but we try to mess with the price elasticity during that period where we don't have any subscribers yet. But with that said, we did adjust our price once after the subscribe and save, and I didn't get any sort of errors or warning messages from Amazon. But I think the best practice in that scenario would be to test price elasticity prior to offering subscribe and save. And then with subscribe and save itself, there's 3 different tiers that you can essentially offer additional discounts. So the default's 5%, but you can bump that to 5, 10, or 15%. So instead of messing with the price elasticity on the front end of the product, I'd probably recommend figure that price elasticity out prior to launching subscribe and save, and then you can mess with the elasticity with the actual discounting levels on the subscribe and save option itself. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes sense. So now let's talk about different niches. There's certain niches that are perfect for this. I sell soap. It's perfect for this. Let's talk about some good, bad, and ugly niches that just shouldn't even attempt it. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if your product's not consumable, it's probably a bad fit. That's
mining equipment wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I mean, we've even played with stuff like we generally don't. Our brand doesn't want to promote waste. So if we're generally not going to try to subscribe to something that's not quite we try to jam circles through circle holes, not circles through squares. But a good example of something that didn't work super well is we were selling, one of the things that we sell are, they're like reusable face wipes for cleaning off makeup and stuff like that. And they made of bamboo, so they're sustainable. And, based on our estimates, the average person would probably be able to use them for, depending on how frequently they clean their face, for every 6 months, they'd probably need a new pack. So we put a subscribe and save option up for, an every 6 month renewal. and we get people subscribing to it, but it's not like even if you price anchor the one-time buy versus the discounted buy or the subscribe and save buy at a pretty significant discount, most people don't look at that product and think, like, they don't future pace themselves enough to think that, hey, in 6 months I'm going to run out of these. It would probably be really convenient to get more delivered. It's just not like that type of product, even though it technically is consumable over time, is not an ideal fit for a subscribe and save environment.
When you're doing social media ads, or if you're even doing Amazon, or do you do Amazon posts?
You mean like in the feed, they're kind of the newer one?
Yeah, it's Amazon social media platform.
Yeah, I think we do. I have an agency that runs most of my Amazon stuff now. We were talking about it a few months ago. I sound ignorant here, but I'm not 100% sure if we're doing it. I know we've been creating videos and stuff like that, so they're probably posting. We're not probably hyper active like we are on other platforms.
Okay, well, just promoting the subscribe and save. How are you going out there? How are you driving external traffic to get people to understand subscribe and save? Are you doing any upselling, or are you doing anything on your website to drive traffic over to Amazon for subscribe and save?
So, I mean, we are still probably like 80% direct to consumer. We do great on Amazon too. Don't get me wrong. Like, we're the number one powdered laundry detergent in Canada, but we do a lot of just basic standard Amazon advertising, like keyword stuff. We advertise on the product page, other people's product pages. We advertise with the brand registry chunk at the top of searches, but externally we don't drive any traffic to Amazon. It's all halo effect from, like, outside of the native advertising platform on Amazon. It's all halo effect from, like, if I'm sending people to our D2C page, there's about 20% of sales spill over to Amazon because a certain amount of people will only buy from Amazon and don't trust anybody else.
And what about growing this subscriber base? So you've been able to get it to 100,000 in 20 months. How were you able to achieve that?
A lot. I mean, there's a lot of different things. We built this whole movement that has people sharing the product with other people. Like, people will buy a package of these, and then they'll go and give 2 strips or a couple strips to their neighbor or somebody in their family that they really like. And we've gotten to the point, like, where they're buying these for Christmas gifts and stuff. But we've done a lot of media buys, a lot of Facebook ads, a lot of YouTube ads. We've been really digging into, like, the humor, Harmon Brothers style content lately. And that's worked tremendously well for us. Something that we've been doing more of recently is we've been working with micro and macro influencers on YouTube, and having, like, us integrated 30-second to a 1-minute spot inside of the content they're creating, where they talk about our brand. And we're seeing, like, over time, the more of these pieces that we buy, the more, like, I don't want to say organic views, but YouTube's like a search engine and the content lives there forever. So we track it month over month, and we're seeing a big growth in, like, overall views of these videos that include our product. So as these YouTube channels grow, our brand grows with it. So
we talk a lot about nano, micro, macro influencers and influencer marketing. On YouTube, how much do you typically spend for an influencer? Average.
What do I pay? So what we do is we take the last 10 videos that they put out. We average out how many views they get on those last 10 videos. And then we have a CPM we use internally. So we could, like, compare it to Facebook or whatever, but anywhere from like $5 to $30 CPM. We don't pay them for ongoing views, but we base the purchase price on our estimated viewership based on our last 10 videos.
So you're setting the price, not the influencer.
It depends. Like, sometimes they'll give us the price and then we'll negotiate, but we typically, like, in order for this to be scalable, we need a system that allows us to kind of determine whether something's worth it or not. And what's really wild about YouTube, or any influencer for that matter, is sometimes you'll find somebody that has a fraction of the followers of another influencer, and they'll drive 10 times the sales because the audience is so much more engaged and listens so much more to what they have to say. Like last month, we paid $500 for this one piece. And I mean, this is still small in the grand scheme of things, but it drove over $2,000 worth of sales. And like, most of our YouTube pieces don't necessarily play out from an attribution standpoint from the link that's included in the bio. Like a lot of it's going to be word of mouth, direct, or brand lift that you'll notice inside of search versus like attributable click through, last click sales attribution.
I'm kind of curious. You're in your product has taken off, so I would call it a fairly fast growth company or a hyper growth company. How do you handle it going from first month, 20 months, going crazy? I always call it crossing the chasm.
Yeah.
People, like, I've seen so many brands fall apart going from $10,000 a month, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, and they absolutely implode because they don't think, they don't have the internal structure, and they've never thought about it until it's too late. What did you do to prepare for that?
I mean, there's a lot of different things. Like, we've grown a number of like multi 7-figure businesses before, but nothing this size. My business partner's been involved with another business where he was the CEO that was doing close to the amount of same revenue numbers that we're doing here. But I think, you can expect that whenever you triple in size, all your systems are going to break. So we've always been trying to anticipate what's going to break next, and like it's been crazy around here. We have 186 staff now. Like there was 3 of us when we started, and we're at 186. Other things that have really helped is, in the beginning, you want to hire scrappy hustlers who want to learn and who want to like grow with the business. But once you get to a certain size, you really need to hire people who have been there before. So we've hired very experienced COO that's been with like Dr. Pepper and Keurig. We've hired director of sales, director of marketing from Johnson & Johnson. Like we're trying to bring on people that have industry experience, and like obviously they're much more expensive, but your needs as an organization transition when you get to a certain size. And as much as you want to bring people up and help people who are hustlers, when you're going crossing the chasm, as you like to say it, you have to have people there that have like sailed these waters before, or you put yourself at risk. I'm just thinking, just ahead of myself.
This might make sense. It might not make sense. But this is what I've seen with a company that I was involved with, is that we've had a really good, solid first tier of hires. So that could be VAs, it could be project managers, it could be whatever. When you bring in the second tier, or if you're hiring smarter, which it sounds like you're doing, that tier can get put off. And that tier, like that first group of sellers, get resentment. Have you ever seen that? And if so, how do you battle that? Because I've seen really great people leave the company that could have been something, but because the new person comes in, which is higher than them now, because the company's growing, they get put off, and now they feel resentment rather than really pumped about being in the company.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that you need to deal with. I mean, first of all is culture. Like culture fit is so much more important than people think. Like we've had one person who was who wasn't the best hire, and it's toxic. It's like a cancer in the company. So like you need to have people on board who believe in whatever it is that you're trying to do, and have personalities that aren't like my way or the highway. Like people need to be collaborative and need to understand that this is what got us here, and these are the people that got us here, and we're a team. We want to be the best team there is. If that's not something that you want to be part of, then you're probably not the right fit. And then secondly is this is from what's his name? The guy that wrote Traction and Rocket Fuel, Gino Wickman, is accountability charts. And like, there's org charts and everything like that, but like determining who it is that each person is accountable to. And that's the person that they go to when they have issues and stuff like that. And then I'm not necessarily or new guy is not necessarily going to come in and be bossing everybody around who's underneath them. He communicates like the needs or whatever to those people's accountable or whoever they're accountable to, and the information gets disseminated. And you're not having people up here pointing fingers down at people down here and completely changing the way they operate. Like for us, specifically for us. I think what we've managed to begin to implement that we didn't have before is there's a little bit more structure, not enough structure that things are stuffy and corporate and boring and annoying and like all sorts of regulatory stuff, hoops you have to jump through in order to get anything done. But when like for us, and I can't speak for everybody obviously, but when you're growing at the rate that we were growing at, everybody's doing way more jobs than they were originally hired to do. They're being entrepreneurial, and like I think whenever you're put in a situation where you have to be entrepreneurial for an extended period of time, you risk getting towards like those burnout phases, and you don't get to stay in the wheelhouse of the thing that you love to do. So we try to structure our business in such a way that lets people stay in their sweet spot and gets them away from that burnout, doing more things that they're supposed to be like. We want them to be happy and let them focus on what they're good at, and try to structure it all as we grow so that they don't have to do the things that they didn't like doing anymore. So it's basically positioned as a benefit versus boring corporate stuffy culture.
I was hoping you'd answer the first part of the question, the way you did, because that's what I was hoping you were going to say. That we talk a lot about building a performance-based culture, or building your brand, or having that buy-in, and especially with hyper growth, you absolutely need to have it, and having the ability to have really good people kind of think for themselves and be performance-based and just quantifiable, have reporting in place, getting them to be able to write their own SOPs to grow their own department.
Yes.
But anyways, let's get back on to the subscription mode. And I do want to ask, Kelsey, is anybody in the audience have any questions about subscription?
So Marcia is asking, first of all, what is the price point for the package of Tru Earth?
Oh, there you go. You get a plug, Ryan.
I got a plug. So basically, there's two price points. There's the non-subscription price is $19.95. The subscription price is $12.95. So we give about a 37% discount to take the subscription offer.
That's pretty significant. Is
Yeah,
that typical? Is that typical for subscription?
No, but the reason why it works, but one of the reasons why so many people opt for the subscription version is because the price is anchored to a very large benefit for them to take that option.
Right. Okay. And Marcia, Kelsey, I thought there was another question from her.
Just does he offer different discounts if buyers subscribe for 3 months, 6 months, etc.?
So we do have an annual subscription option, which is like 384 loads, which is roughly the amount that the average family of 4 does in a year. It sounds like it's a hell of a lot, but my wife said, "There's no way we do that much laundry." And then she thought about the fact that, like, on a Saturday we'll wash like all the linens and the sheets, and it adds up. But anyways, we offer, if you do an annual subscription, it's $109. So you save, I think that's another, I can't do the math live right now, but you save another good chunk of money by 12 packs is equivalent of 384. So you save it. You get two extra packs for free.
I'm just looking at a question from Fatia, and this brings up a great point. You just have this huge savings. Now, I'm not going to get into your cost of goods or anything like that, but you've got to have significant markup to be able to offer a 30% discount. So, and I want to make sure that our listeners understand that too, because most Amazon listeners are probably going to take their cost of goods, multiply it. Some will do 3 times. Some might do it 4 times. We try to get it, we try to talk people into much higher, but a minimum of 4 times. So by giving away a 30% discount like that, how is that affecting you? Obviously, you're making money on 30 points off.
Yeah, so we basically figured out like the price that we wanted to sell the product for is our subscription price.
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea behind having by having the one-time purchase more expensive, it offsets the costs when of our media buys when people don't make the purchase right away, but it allows us to build like I said before, roughly 65% of people take the subscription option. And then with the annual version, we're giving additional discounts. We're actually saving money, and so we're not sending a package every month. Mm-hmm. So our shipping costs are now one time instead of 12, and then like packaging isn't cheap. So instead of sending 12 packages or purchasing and packing 12 packages, we're packing one package, which is the 384 pack. So for us, we're pulling a lot of those extra costs out by only having to ship once. So we pass those savings on to the consumer.
Okay, you dropped a nugget. So this is, I never really thought of it doing it this way. So what you just said, if I understand it, is that, okay, you'll set all your margins, your competitiveness, you're going out to the market based on your subscription price. Then anybody else, that extra 30 points is just coming into your pocket for those single sales.
Yeah.
Guys, that's a really great thought. So, just think about that when you're doing subscription, because even I do this. I've gone out and it's a great strategy. So this is something new. Like I'll go out there and I've got my prices for my soap or for my dog stuff, and I'll give a subscribe and save based on based on my launch price. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. So it's just a different way of thinking, and these are the things like when you hear about Tim Francis talking about know your numbers, and you talk about Kevin King doing things slightly different. This is slightly different. Go out, if you have a subscription model and you think you're going to use that, have that as your base, and then increase 10, 20, 30, and put that in your jeans. That's great. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And I mean, you obviously, if you're starting a brand, it's easier to do that compared if you already have one going. But I've helped like another supplement brand that I'm friends with, one of my friends from Blue Ribbon Mastermind, and he was having a really hard time, or the percentage of customers taking subscribe and save was extremely low. And the first thing I said to him was, you need to figure out the price that you want to get paid on your subscription. That's your price, and then your products already exist. Yeah, you can't just go and bump your price up 30% and it'd be acceptable. But what you can do is you can slowly creep the price of the one-time buy up until that percentage savings is high enough that it justifies the value. Because at the end of the day, I mean, people are either going to take subscribe and save because it's convenient for them to get the product on a recurring basis, and then there's other people that take it because it saves them money. So you're basically tapping into both of those segments if you can position it properly to get go. But like a 10% discount, if I'm just trying something out, I might not really be that interested in taking the subscribe and save until I've actually tried it. And with a lot of products, especially consumables, what I've personally found in my life, and definitely in the supplement line, is that I'll start taking a supplement, and as soon as I run out of that supplement in my cupboard, that's it. I'm not taking it anymore because I have to go to the store and buy it again, or I have to order it again online. And I keep kicking it down the curb and it never happens. So so you do run that risk, especially like as a one-time purchase item, of trying to you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to win back the customer.
Okay. We have another question here. I don't know if it's Dr. Kaz or Fatia.
Yep. Do you folks have a Shopify site? Any off Amazon channels?
Yeah, so we're primarily off of Amazon. I think maybe 15% on Amazon, but our website's www.tru.earth. And we've built some proprietary software over the last decade. It's called The Machine. It's not publicly available yet. I think they're working on a launch later this year to make it publicly available. But yeah, Tru Earth. Well, our wholesale is run through Shopify right now to separate inventory, but the entire platform's proprietary platform that we built.
And this is great that we're on Shopify right now because so many people just think about Amazon. But on Shopify, this is a great opportunity. And I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't already do. But when you have a product like this, or when you have a subscribe model, one of the things that you can do is just get the bloody person, get some external traffic over to Shopify, any way you want, Facebook or whatever, get them over. And then when they do see a product sale, okay, they buy it. But and this is Gaur Chaudhry that I learned this from, is that you upsell, downsell, cross sell. And while you're doing this, you're kind of figuring out your customer's demographic. So they'll come in, and then you'll come back with a message basically saying, oh, if you want to save X, buy 3. Oh, if you're buying 3, you'll save an additional 30% by subscribing. Okay, boom. And so you'll just go up and you'll see, you'll keep upping it to see what they'll where the sweet spot is. So subscription is definitely the sweet spot. But if it's not, then it goes down, and then you cross promote with another product that you might have. But even this is one other cool thing, and I mentioned this on the podcast once in a while. Once they get into your Shopify store, and let's say that they buy a 3-pack instead of a subscription, or they might get into the subscription model, have a discount code there to drive them back to Amazon to buy off of your Amazon store as well. Now you've got their email, all their information, the customers or yours, plus you got a secondary sale over at Amazon. It would work really nice. I don't know if you're doing anything like that, but that's something we do all the time now on our Shopify stores.
Yeah, I like I said before, we pretty much only drive. We don't drive anybody specifically to Amazon. It's just basically inside of that infrastructure, their ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So, but that's a good idea. I'll take a look at that for sure.
Yeah, and there's just so much. Like you were right when we started talking about the subscribe and save model, getting people over to Shopify. So I've got a brand. It does very well in the pet niche, and 2/3 of our sales are off Amazon. It's just not a product made for Amazon, and yet Shopify, it just kills it. More external traffic, we drive over to it, more sales. It's just not the same over on Amazon. But most of the time, you can pick up, just these people that want to sell Amazon. That's it. Amazon one click, and they're just 100% Amazon shoppers. It's unfortunate, but anyways, if you've got the 2, at least you're not going to be a one-legged stool.
Yeah.
So, all right. So any other questions there? I see Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Yeah. So I asked the audience what their favorite subscription service is, and Melissa's is BarkBox. So anyone in the audience, name your favorite subscription service, and we'll put it up here.
You want to know something crazy? I was asked to speak at this subscription trade show. So I thought, okay, there's going to be like 250. There was thousands and thousands of people with thousands and thousands of subscription boxes, anywhere from cannabis to supplements to you name it. We're going to have a guy on the show. I don't know if it's next week. I'm not sure when he's confirmed for. He just sold his subscription box for $500 million. Just sold it. And he hasn't been doing it that long. I mean, it is really crazy what you can do and the multiples you can get for subscription boxes. And guess what? Why? Well, it might be because of multiple, or it might be because of subscription, the key word. It might be because, people think they're getting a lot more value. I don't know. But subscription boxes are definitely something to take a look at. So, and you said that you were getting involved with some subscription boxes. Are you still marketing it that way?
Yeah, we're still in a few. Like, I mean, I have a bit of an advantage in that department because I've been a part of about 7 subscription box projects that have, like, probably 3 of them were multi-million-dollar projects. So I kind of know the inner workings of the business model. So we've found quite a bit of success in just like reaching out to them, like tons of different subscription boxes and getting placement. And it, the one nice thing about getting put in a subscription box from a marketing standpoint is that the people that typically buy subscription boxes are a little bit more frivolous spenders because they generally don't know what they're going to get. Like to try new things, and they have disposable income because they're buying a box of stuff that they have no idea what it is. So the nice thing about working with them, they typically have like packages that come along with product placement that include stuff like influencer unboxings and blog posts. You can typically put like a promo code inside the box to pull people over. There's a whole bunch of different things. You obviously have to have decent enough margins in order to make it work. But like, it's been, we haven't done a ton of them, but we've probably seeded at least 50 to 60,000 different homes with that. And then this is in that same vein. If your product's inexpensive enough and it's light enough, you could also do direct mail through like the postal service and stuff like that. We've done that. That's worked pretty well for us.
All right. So Dr. Kaz has got a question here.
Yeah. So Dr. Kaz, what are your off Amazon advertising golden nugget strategies?
Okay, golden nugget. Ooh, I think the 2 most important things if you're going to be selling like on a Shopify store or using ClickFunnels or whatever your platform that you choose. I see one thing that I see a lot of people do, and this is kind of elementary, is they either push directly to the product description page or to a collection page or to the home page. And those pages aren't necessarily designed, they're designed to sell, but they're not designed to sell to somebody who's not aware of your product. So they're great for retargeting, they're great for all this. I would recommend that if you want to do D2C off of Amazon where somebody is unaware of your brand, that you build a specific landing page sales letter for your customer, and a really simple format to kind of follow. It's a form of transactional psychology. I learned it from Travis Sago, but it's basically the acronym's CAP: child, adult, parent. The child gets excited by and likes like the emotional headings. You personally, you'll buy into something emotionally because it solves a problem of yours, or it checks all your interest boxes. So you start with something emotional, your headline, how it's going to change your life. Then A in the cap is adult. This is like kitchen table logic. Like, what are the things that you need to hear, like the features and benefits that are going to give you the confirmation bias that you need from that emotional hook, that are going to make you it's like I wanted to buy an iPad a few years ago, and the only reason I wanted to buy it is because Apple's commercials sucked me in, and I was validating it in my head is that, I'm going to bring this to meetings and I'm going to take notes. So what are the things that you need to tell yourself to convince yourself? Like, you're already convinced, but like, what is it? How do you like make yourself agree with what you're already thinking or what they read in the emotional headline? And then the final part is parents. So parents are critical. You've tried stuff like this before. What's different about this? Like, so risk reversal. Why is this different than all the other things that you've tried? So like, just kind of like making sure that person doesn't feel like, perfect example is like a money back guarantee, or like double your money back if you don't like the product, whatever that looks like. If you structure your page with this information, and also, testimonials works well in that kind of like segment of it as well, because they can see what other people have said about the product. But, you can look at our landing page if you want for a decent example. It's not the prettiest. It's probably not the best example in the world either, but it works for us. And then have that page drive people to the product description page.
So I'd like to add something there. And Amazon does this with Amazon Post, by the way. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of tire kickers and get the people that are actually going to buy. That's why when you click on an Amazon post, it takes you 4 to 5 clicks to make the purchase. It's not a one purchase click. It's click first. Oh, okay, I'm interested in the brand or the image. Okay, 50% of your traffic just got lost. Click again. Now it goes to the actual post with all the summary, with show product. Click again, show product, and now you can go over to the product listing page. Then you can click add to cart and buy. Now what you're doing is you're taking 5,000 or 10,000 viewers down to 100 viewers, and you're converting like crazy. Amazon absolutely loves that. So what you can do on the Amazon side for this, if you're driving people over to a funnel page, so a lot of people drive traffic directly over to Amazon. They make a big mistake. I had one of my clients, they didn't tell me about this, and they're probably listening, but I'm not going to say your name. They ended up very, very successful company. They didn't tell me that they were going to drive, and they had a Mother's Day promo where they drove 180,000 people out of their mailing list over to Amazon who didn't buy. So they went from like a 35% conversion rate to nothing. Well, guess what happened? Everything just collapsed. The ranking, everything just collapsed because there was no conversion. PPC costs went up. So very similar to what you were talking about, getting people over to a landing page and then getting the people to buy through that. Same thing with Amazon, something to look at. I do want to take this one from Dr. Kaz and then just to get your thoughts on this. I am 100%, and I know Melissa here is going to roll her eyes because she hears me talk about this all the time. I believe in authority. I believe that authority is the only way that you can get sales. It's authority, trust equals sales. If you don't have authority and trust, it's a harder road to go to get sales, because what you just said, Ryan, is that people don't know you. You are a micro brand. Now, we are in the era of the rise of the micro brand. That's what this podcast is all about, but they don't know you. So what do? You lay the groundwork down, usually before a launch. But what we try to do is we'll go, all right, what can we do first? First of all, it's brand consistency. If you're on Amazon, if people are going to click off of Amazon to see who you are. Now you're over at Google. All right, do you have social media set up? Is it consistent? Do you have your brand story? What are your colors? Is it consistent? Like, everything has to be consistent.
Yes.
Second thing is when you go over to the website, is it consistent or does it suck? When you give the consumer the ability to say, wow, this looks a little scammy, guess what? You just lost a customer. So being able to put those all in place, like whoever's doing your website, make sure the same bloody graphic artist knows, the social media to help you with your banners, and spread the banners right across so it doesn't look weird. And then what's more important? Google's algorithm right now is saying we want information. And by the way, the highest weighted information is newsworthy product. So that's one of the reasons we pump press releases so much, but not press releases that suck. There's so many people that go to the Philippines and pay $2 for a bloody press release, and it doesn't work. It has to be good quality. And also, when you're putting out those really good, high quality press releases that could cost you anywhere from $100 to $1,500, you want to make sure that you've got all your information, all your content, you have a YouTube video in there, and that it looks consistent. Tie that into a blog article on your page, and guess what? It works like magic. All of a sudden, Google's going to start ranking you. You're going to see a lot more. And then you tie in with what you're talking about, Ryan, influencers who are going to independently put content up there about your product. Now you own the front page on Google. It's really that simple, but it does take strategy to plan something like that. So I am that's why when I started PR Reach or bought PR Reach, it went from press releases into content, into public relations, because we saw the power that all of those things vertically integrated would help with e-com brands, or mostly it was for Amazon, but for e-com or any business in general. Now we also had, and you can definitely talk to Craig Darling. We had Craig on 2 podcasts ago. The single biggest ranking tool that you can get on Amazon or on Google is free. If you're paying, like he used the thing about the $55,000 for a local car dealer, $55,000 a month in SEO. And because of Google My Business, he was able to get it down to 1,000 with more sales and more traffic than the SEO was driving. That is my advice to anybody listening. So again, you can check out our Google My Business thing. I've put it everywhere. Kelsey, right after the podcast, I said, Kelsey, talk to Craig. We got to get it on every one of our companies. The I Know This Guy, Lunch with Norm, my personal site, all the business sites, all the brands. So Craig went right through the roof. And I know a lot of people listening here actually booked time with him. So anyways, Ryan, that's a big spiel, but I know, I just wanted to take that because I'm passionate about, building authority for my brands.
Yeah, and I think, just to add to that too, I don't even necessarily always use the wire to release stuff. Like if there's something that's geographically relevant, or also we'll single-handedly go out and track down the different press outlets that we want to be on specifically, and we'll craft a pitch directly to them. And what I found is that when you go and you find somebody that talks on a certain subject, and you've crafted your pitch directly to them, including all the images that they can use, quotes and all that stuff. When COVID started, I reached out to 8 different press outlets after we donated a bunch of product. And I got picked up by 5 of them, and I was just me reaching out. We did a wire as well, but if you can go and contact these people directly. And then the other kind of thing that I would add to this as well is that if you have a story that is newsworthy, you have a piece of content that you should throw in the mix in your Facebook ads or your Google ads. One of the most effective ways that I make sales is when I create these locally relevant press releases, clean it up, publish it on our site, and have a couple links to the proper internal pages that I want to link to, but then also have a big call to action to try the product at the end. And I don't know anybody else that's doing this, but it works amazingly well. And if it's geographically relevant, then you can cater to the locale in your Facebook ads, saying say I live in a city called Coquitlam. I could be like, Coquitlam, thanks for all your support. Because of the subscriptions that you've purchased over the last 3 months, you've been able to help us donate 160,000 people, or 160,000 loads of laundry detergent locally to families in need who are out of work because of COVID. Thank you so much. And then people click the link because they're interested, because they live in Coquitlam. They want to read more about it. They get enlightened and are excited by the fact that people in the area contributed to helping people here. And then they want to learn more about the brand, so they click through and they wind up purchasing. It's there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can unpack inside of PR here, Norm. But I definitely think that people don't. There's a lot of pieces of PR that people could be stacking onto what they're doing and really getting a good bang for their buck.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Coquitlam, Tofino, been there so many times. And I like to say that I was a good boy there, but I was absolutely not. Yeah, that was our, oh my gosh.
You got some nice views of the mountains out here,
but anyways, yeah, that's my fishing hub. I like going out there and flying out to Vancouver Island, but that's a whole other story for another day. The other thing I'd like to say about geo-targeting with press releases, when we put it out, we have our own proprietary networks that we use and influencers and all this other stuff. But here's a secret that a lot of people don't realize. If you target cities or towns under 350,000 people, typically, and all you put is Tofino, BC, Coquitlam, BC, Tampa, Florida, you have just created a, like, next day, open up and search your ranking, and now you're ranking right across the board for bully sticks in Tampa or whatever in that region. You can kill it. So if, let's say that you take your reports and you see that you're doing a great job over in Brooklyn or in LA, or, take a look at the surrounding areas, create press releases and drive it either to Amazon or over to your Shopify store, and you'll be number one. I showed this on a podcast before where we dominated the full first and second pages with our brand just by doing that type of geo-targeting. And it's so simple, just in Tofino. That's it.
Yeah. And I think, to touch on that even more, it's really smart to even wrap some of your press releases just around these local areas and just test to see what traction you get. Because if you can get traction on a geographically relevant piece of content, or press specifically, you can then go and duplicate that in different regions all over North America and gobble up press, get links, get all sorts of media attention all over the place. But I like the idea of starting with one small city and make it work there, and then you basically now have a scalable story.
Yep. And you get, depending on the network, really high quality authority links, coming back to your site. So that's always cool as well. All right, Kels, it's getting close to that time. Are there any other questions? Does anybody want to come in and talk?
No. I think we missed one actually.
Okay.
From Fatiha. Are you in the B2B section too for bulk orders?
Yeah, we're in about 2,000 stores, or over 2,000 stores now across North America. We actually made a decision to not go in discount stores recently because we don't want to cannibalize our D2C. We do want to be in as many places as possible, but we need to prick our pricing. We do offer product to refilleries, but we're like a refillery is like a place you can go and you can like bring your container and you buy stuff by weight or by quantity. But we're definitely being a little bit more selective on which refilleries we work with, because we don't want people buying our product and repackaging it either. So these are just the things that you learn after 20 months of bashing your head against the wall.
Yeah, there's also something else that I wanted to see if you've run across. So I've worked with plenty of brands. Just recently I came across an absolute nightmare where the brand has distributors. So fair enough. And they do, like, the distributors do a great job. However, there's a reseller agreement. And by the way, if you are selling to distributors, I would definitely have a reseller agreement in place.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Where can they sell? And so what they've done is they've sold, the distributor did not sell on Amazon. So one of the clauses are, you cannot sell on Amazon or this or that. They don't. What happens is they go and sell to a distributor who ends up, or another wholesaler who now sells on Amazon. And literally we had 23 people selling this product that we had to send out letters just to stop selling the product. We are exclusive online distributor for the brand. They didn't care, and it was a real hassle. So I think you have to be very careful about that. How do you get around that so you don't get product cannibalized? And the reason before you answer that, one of the biggest reasons I'm saying this is online with Amazon, I can charge $20. The product cannibalization outlets can take it, buy it at wholesale, and now they sell it out at $14.99, which just it creates your perceived value just goes out the window. Everything goes out the window because you're lowering your price so that these wholesalers or people that are not supposed to be selling your product are on there competing against you. How do you get around that? That was long-winded, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, I'm long-winded too. I'm sure if you and I had a conversation independently of this, we'd probably both be on tangents. But So we have agreements in place that specifically say you can't sell through third-party vendors like Amazon. I've had companies do it in the past, and we've had to shut them down. They always have their pitch about why it's good for them to be on there, but if you are working with a distributor, you need to make sure that your price point is high enough that it doesn't make sense for these companies to even sell on Amazon. And most retail stores are not looking for keystone markups where it's like, if I sell them the product for $6, they're going to sell it for $12. I've actually found that, they're expecting anywhere between 35 and 65% margin. So there's no need, I would not start by offering keystone markups while you're selling wholesale. If it becomes an issue and you need to reduce your price to make it work, one thing that we started off doing was offering the product too cheap. Not too cheap, but the price point that we were giving wholesalers and distributors was there was actually too much margin. And if you ever try to get in grocery stores, they don't want 100% margin. Obviously they would like 100% margin, but they're especially the discount ones, they're used to operating on a 35% margin. And if you give them 100% margin, they're going to wind up discounting the product. And if you have kind of pricing standards set, they could potentially hurt that. And you can't go and tell them that they can't reduce your price. That's antitrust. So the only thing that you can do if somebody sells below the price that you want to be listed at is stop providing them the product.
Right. Yep. Okay, great. All right. So I think that's it. I think there was a giveaway today, wasn't there? Kelsey?
I think so.
Yeah, Ryan?
I think
we just jumped right into the call. So
Ryan,
why don't you explain the giveaway?
I don't think we actually discussed details of it, but I'm happy to give a couple packages away to whatever criteria that you guys normally use.
Are there any places? Is it U.S. only, Canada, or anything?
No, we're in about 55 different countries. Yeah. I'll leave it up to you guys to pick a couple people to give product to. I'm not trying to benefit from it outside of the fact that it gives somebody an opportunity to try it. And I came up with I created a coupon code too. I think I sent that to you, right, Kels?
You sent me that you have a discount, but you didn't send the actual code.
Okay. So yeah, what ended up happening today is we were all, there was a tech issue. So we started when you saw us starting talking. Ryan just came on. We hadn't even talked yet. But what we'll do, how about we do this? Let's do I love green. The reason I'm saying that is because of, being friendly to the environment. I love green to enter into the free packages, and we'll get you out a couple of free packages. And I know it's late. I should have mentioned it earlier on, but it is something that I just remembered.
I think the coupon code, I'm just double checking right now. I think it's lunch with Norm, but I'm just gonna double check, and it gives you 10% off if anybody wants to try it. 1 sec.
Okay.
So how many giveaways do you want to do, Ryan?
Let's give away 3.
All right. So three packs going away. I see a few coming through right now. Yeah.
So
Andrew, we'll
I love green.
Yeah. So I love green. That's great.
All right. So
and while we're waiting for everybody to put it in, so I love green, and you'll get this the free product, as well as we'll be providing a coupon code. So are there any other tips while we're waiting for everybody to come in that you can provide about subscribe and save? Do's, don'ts?
Yeah, if you're doing it direct to consumer from your own website, a couple things. Make sure you offer a one-time subscription option, one-time purchase option, because if you don't do that, you cannot go in Google Shopping. Also, people get mad when they don't realize that they've subscribed to something. The other another tip, and these are things that I've learned through doing this, is make sure if you have a product that's consumable, make sure that you offer different frequency options, because not everybody is going to use the same amount of product. Like for instance, when we launched this, you could only get month to month. A 75-year-old grandma who lives by herself and does one load of laundry a week, all you're doing when you continue to resend them more every month is create dissonance. Every time that they see the product in the cupboard and they forgot to cancel, and another pack shows up and they start to get this stacked in the cupboard, you're not building positive brand reinforcement. You're basically tying yourself to negativity. So it's very important that if you're offering a consumable and there could be multiple people in the house, that you offer different frequencies. So like we offer monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, every 6 months. Once I did that, like I did code analysis of the first purchase during a time frame, and the lifetime value of our customers once they were able to pick their own frequency skyrocketed, because I look at that cohort, you're getting all these cancellations fairly early on when they don't actually need that much product.
You caught me
Also, yeah. No, yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. And then the other thing too is like you're not creating negative brand associations. You want, if somebody has to pause their subscription or cancel their subscription when they need laundry detergent again, you want them to think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go resubscribe. That was easy to cancel, or that was easy to pause. Which is another tip. When we first launched, we didn't have an easy way to cancel. You had to send email or call our customer service, and it was just that our platform didn't have an easy way for customers to cancel, and I just don't think, like, people might think, oh yeah, but it's gonna increase our retention rate if they have to call in or if they have to email in, and like that might be great for you on the short term as a business, but you're not building a trustful, a positive experience for the customer. And you want, like I said, when their laundry detergent runs out, the first thing that you want them to think is, I need to go back to Tru Earth and unpause my subscription or restart it again. You don't want them to think, oh shit, I'm out of laundry detergent. But like, that last time that I had to cancel, it was kind of hard. Like, I might be better off just like going and getting them from the grocery store. You want to reduce the friction, and you want to have the best possible experience so that you have lifetime customers.
That is so true. Plus, it's against compliance. So if you're accepting credit cards, there has to be an easy way for you to unsubscribe, or you could be in a little bit of hot water if somebody complains. So that is one of my huge pet peeves, especially when I'm buying something on the internet, on the web, and you can't bloody well. Like I don't even do it. I don't even spend my time anymore. If I can't find it at first round, I just go directly over to American Express, hit, just cancel the subscription. And then, that's on them. That's on them. And I tell them, by the way, there was no cancel. There is no cancel button. I could not, for the reason, could not unsubscribe. There is a huge fine that could happen. From what I understand, once you get in, like everybody that takes on or has a payment processor on your platform, you have to understand the compliance regulations. And part of the compliance regulations is having the currency on the site. You have to have a refund policy. You have to have the ability to cancel. These are things that you must have on a site. So anyways, you should check that out too, just in case your site, if you're selling anything, doesn't have that. You think you might be retaining, all you're doing is pissing off people. All right. So, Kelsey.
All right.
Time for Wheel of
Kelsey. Share my screen. Just give me a second. Names. Okay. So, can you see my screen?
That's fancy.
Oh,
thank you.
Kelsey.
All right. So, we're 2 spins. So, first one. So, 3, 2, 1.
Dun, dun, dun.
Marcia, there we go.
Okay, congratulations, Marcia. And
Marcia, by the way, is it Marcia or Marcia?
Believe it's Marcia. She corrected us before, I think. 3, 2, 1.
Simon, very
Okay,
good.
Simon.
And one more.
Is it 3 or 2?
3 is good.
3?
We can do 3. We can do 3. Just one thing. When you get the information from everybody, we need what if they want scented or unscented, and we need their address, name, email, and phone number. We're not going to send spam or anything like that. But since we send from Canada, we need their phone number in case there's any sort of customs issues or anything like that. But our system requires it because of that. Just so you guys know.
Okay. So name, phone number, scented, unscented, and
email.
Address and email. Okay. All right. And one more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, rad.
Who also sells green products. I think he just mentioned
Nice.
something about that. Yeah, very
Very
cool.
nice.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
So that's it. We also have the coupon code that Kelsey added, Lunch with Norm. Ryan, thank you so much for the giveaways. And thanks for being on the podcast today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I got
appreciate it.
Marcia. I was corrected. I hate when Kelsey's right. Marcia asked, what is the scent?
It's called Fresh Lemon. It smells. I can't obviously describe a smell, but because the strips are very concentrated inside the package, it smells very strong. But it doesn't because you're putting the scent for your laundry in a tiny little strip. Once it goes in the laundry, it doesn't smell strong afterwards. But in the package, it's pretty strong. The only thing to note, I guess this is important, is that even our scented version is hypoallergenic. So it's certified hypoallergenic. If you are scent sensitive, I would suggest going with the unscented version.
Okay, very good. All right. So stick around after the call. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. But once again, Ryan, thanks for being on the podcast. This is great. Hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll be talking to you soon. So just stick around for a couple of minutes, unless you have to go. But anyways, everybody, it was a lot of fun today. Learned a few tricks myself. All right, Kels, anything else to say?
All right. So if you haven't yet, please join our Beard Nation. It's Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective. I think we're almost at 550 members right now. So I'm really excited about it. We got a couple of things planned. We got maybe new segments to do for our Patreon too. We're brand new on Patreon. So if you guys would like to buy us monthly coffee or donate a bit more to the show, is always an option. But of course, just liking and sharing this episode is more than enough. But I do want to give a shout out to Marcia and Mark. They both signed up for our Patreon, and we really appreciate it. And thank you so much for doing that. So a little shout out there.
Coffee was on them today. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
And,
so
yeah.
I think next on Wednesday, we've got our returning PPC expert, Brian Johnson, and can't wait to talk to him. So he's Wednesday. And then again, join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for being so supportive of the show. Thanks for being in our community. And we'll talk to you soon.
Lunch with Norm.